Northeast Ohio and beyond. This is Sue Johnson from Wake Up and Live's Actors Studio, and you would not believe that I am personally sitting on the Allen Theater stage, completely designed and in set. You know why? Because Ms. Miche Braden is about to perform for the general public, because opening is tomorrow, Wednesday night. And she is Miss Bessie Smith. We want you to be sure to come on down to the Allen Theater and check out Miche Braden in her one-woman show called The Devil's Music, The Life and Blues of Bessie Smith. And what we want to do is find out why it's called The Devil's Music. And if you want to find out too, be sure to call for tickets, 216-241-6000. And people will be delighted to sell you as many tickets as you like for the Allen Theater. So I'll stop being silly now and introduce our special guest, Ms. Miche Braden. This is my honor and my pleasure.
Thank you
I told
so
you this
much.
was casual.
Honey, it's all right with me. I love it.
Now let's start with the obvious. Miche.
Yes.
And you spell it M-I-C-H-E.
Yes.
How in the world did that happen?
When I was younger, me and a friend used to write poetry. And we said, well, we're going to write something and say your name represents something. So she asked her mother how to spell Mickey, and she spelled it M-I-C-H-E.
Okay.
And I've liked it ever since.
And so that's your name.
That's my name.
And so you were real little, you wrote poetry.
Yes.
What kind of poetry did you love to write back then?
Prose mostly. You know, just basic things, you know, telling teenage angst.
Oh,
you know.
The Storm and Drum.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so sad. Okay.
And now you're primarily a music person, between your singing and your writing and all the things you do. And even now, aren't you currently or recently the minister of music
At Unity Fellowship Church, New Ark.
Okay.
Yes, and I right now am more so acting. You know, I do a lot of acting with music.
Yes.
But then I also do a lot of straight acting now.
Okay.
You know, so it's a balance now, good balance.
Well, it looks like you're wearing it well.
Well, thank you.
So now, tell us a little bit about Bessie Smith, because if we don't, the lady responsible for us being here, Miss Lisa Craig, who is in charge of the public relations for the entire Cleveland Playhouse operation, would kill me. So therefore, we're going to get right to the meat of our show and talk about what's going on with Bessie Smith.
Bessie Smith was one of a kind.
Oh, yeah.
As well as the fact that she's the one that really put blues into the forefront, more so than just the tent shows and the tough on blacks, you know, shows that were going on. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
But she took it to a higher level, and her story is just so wild. Of course, she was just herself completely, but an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing producer, an amazing choreographer, singer, songwriter. She did everything.
Well, not that many things were a little before my time, but she's one of the few left that was before my time. So you're telling me things that I did not know about her. I knew her as a singer, but you say she was an entrepreneur, producer.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about that.
She owned her business. She did not.
Was it the music business?
Basically her shows. You know, you produce. They didn't make much money in the recording.
Oh,
you
no.
know, they didn't really pay them that much, except when they got their own, gave them to the porters. They took them around the country.
Yes, that
she
was
was the first almost million seller.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
She was the first, African American, and her music just went well, say nationwide.
Nationwide
at that time. Yes.
Now, Lester and I were talking. Lester is our videographer, and his grandson Christopher is helping with the tech today. And we were talking, and I was saying about Bessie Smith was a little ahead of my time. And what years was she really at her prime or heyday?
Her first recording came out in 1923, and then she passed in 1937.
Oh, so that wasn't very much time
no,
for
it
her
wasn't.
to be
It was about
prominent.
14 years.
Yeah, and again, I don't remember, because you remember about Billie Holiday and how she got taken out of life. What happened with Bessie's case in terms of why she had such a short...
She was actually in a car accident.
Okay.
Going to her next gig. And the rumor is that when she had the accident, they took her to a white hospital.
Okay.
And, that rumor has been going for years and years.
Like
but
an
actually
urban legend or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
but she actually just lost so much blood. There was no saving her.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
And you know, in those days, it would not have made the mistake of taking any black person to a white hospital.
Right. Now, what happened in your life that triggered, that said, aha, I'm going to make Bessie Smith my alter ego and spend the rest of forever enthralling stages and audiences with Bessie?
Well, actually, I played quite a few of the divas.
Okay.
I played Billie Holiday, Ma Rainey, Valeda Snow, that not too many people know about.
I was just going to say, who is that one?
Valeda was a very interesting person,
Okay.
you know, but she was in the concentration camps for a year and a half.
For
People don't know
heaven's
there were more than
sakes.
1 million blacks in that. But with Bessie Smith, Joe Brancato, my director,
That's right,
I
yeah.
asked him, he asked me what did I want to do, and I said, well, I want to play Bessie Smith. And he asked me why and said, let me hear some music and stuff, and he didn't like it.
Okay.
You know, but I said, let me arrange some of it and show you how it would go if it wasn't for the recording setbacks. You know, they didn't really have good recording techniques in those days.
Right.
So he liked it. We got someone, Angelo Pera, to write the book.
Okay.
And we worked on it for almost 2 years.
And then out you came.
Yes, we did, and it's been wonderful.
And where are all the kind of places that you do perform, Bessie Smith? Nightclubs, cabarets, private parties? I know Broadway, off-Broadway, what have you.
Theater.
Anywhere there's a theater.
Theater is definitely a theater piece.
Okay.
You know, it could be done, it is something like what you might go to an after party, a rent party with there's musicians and stuff, or a club jam session.
Yeah.
But it is a theater piece. Yes.
Rent parties. You know, this lady goes way back. We will not spend a lot of time talking about.
Oh, remember waistline parties?
Well, I never had one of those.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gosh, golly. You know, what is do you have any formal training as, now we both got the giggles.
Yeah, right.
Did you have formal training in the music world, or are you one of those natural born types?
Well, it's a little bit of both. My mother, Dr. Mildred Doby, who's in Detroit, was a minister of music in the churches in Detroit, and she did classical. She exposed me to many things. And she started me with my godmother, Miss Johnny Reed, for my first piano teacher, when I was 6, I believe. But I've been around music all my life.
All your life, sure.
Yeah, but I have studied, worked with the Motown musicians. They were my band for quite a while.
Yes, I saw
Earl Van Dyke, Beans Bowes, Uriah Jones. The Jazz Cats, I studied with them in Detroit.
Wow.
Harold McKinney, Marcus Belgrave, the upper echelon of jazz in Detroit.
Yes, indeed.
And I thought everybody did this, you know, like the holidays we were always singing.
Yes.
And I went to somebody else's house one holiday and they didn't get in a big circle and sing songs. You know, we would sing Ray Charles, Drown in My Own Tears. We would just have a ball musically all the time.
Well, are you familiar? I was talking to Lester as we were coming down to do the interview. Now, there was a time I was only a little kid. Do you remember hearing anything about Idlewild, Michigan? Okay, let's dish a little bit. That was where a lot of the black stars were really coming out. And if I recall, well, you tell me what you recall about Idlewild.
I was little when I heard about Idlewild. But my family and the church that I went to, some people had homes up there.
Yes.
I know that the stars used to come through there. It was like the Catskills of Michigan.
Or when we used to have Leo's Casino here in terms of the our artists, you know, breaking out. But yeah, keep talking because I was only about 11 or 12 myself.
Yeah, it was something I never went. I mean, I think I did go up in the country sometime, but I never went when there was a show. I
don't think we were allowed to go at that time.
Yeah, I think that was one of the kind of places you stayed with your grandparents, you know, and they went up there and had a good time.
Yeah, well, I actually went to Idlewild a couple of summers, but again, we weren't allowed to go, you know, and see the entertainment.
Yes, exactly.
And I think I remember Pearl Bailey's name being one of the ones that the folks would, make sure they would go see. But okay, so Idlewild was the in place for a while.
For a good while.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we could share a lot of sort of memories. What made you leave Detroit as your home base?
I was seeing myself coming around the corner.
Okay.
People were wearing the hair like mine. They were coming to my gigs with tape recorders and putting it in my face on my gig and listening to me scat and trying to get my licks and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, if it's that good, let me get myself on out of here and see what else I can do. Because I'm not one that wants to be a big fish in a little pond.
I understand.
If I can't experience the world, then, it's not, what am I doing it for?
Yes.
Yeah, so I left.
And you and I don't want to compare anything, but most of the world knows that Ella was the queen of scat. And yet you have that ability too, and you work that into your routine.
Well, being with jazz musicians, you have no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I played piano. I play piano, but they wanted me to play on their gigs, so I refused to play. Okay. And I would scat. If you wanted me to solo, I would scat. Okay. So I would know the chords. I could play whatever I needed to play, but don't ask me to play on your gig because I'm not a side musician. You got it.
Did you ever run? And there's no doubt about that. Did you ever run with Ella at all or see her perform?
No, I met her once. Marcus
we were
Belgrave.
a little younger than she.
When I was 19, Marcus Belgrave was playing with her. I didn't know. I was going to this jazz school called Metro Arts in Detroit. And I was in the dance company at the time, and he said, well, would you like to go see Ella Fitzgerald? And I said, fine. So we went to the Elmwood Casino. Okay. I don't remember. Was that in Canada? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But he took me and he sat me down. He was gone for like an hour. And I said, oh my God, I'm stuck here. I don't know where I am. All of a sudden the show starts. And Ella's singing, and they said, our star trumpeter, Marcus Belgrave. I said, oh my God. So I didn't know what I was getting into, but I got a chance to see her live one time.
Well, we've seen her live. We saw her live a couple times because here again in the jazz era, so to speak, there was something, and here I go again about Lester. He may remember it was called something like the Newport Jazz Festival.
I did it last year.
It's still going?
Yes, it is. I did it with James Carter last year.
Yeah, because
in that fort. It's a big old fort or something that they have in there now.
We never went there, but I think the name was similar because all the stars would come through and there'd be a jazz festival. Yes. And I grew up on it. My sister's a little younger, and Daddy would take us to see, all of the.
I know that was amazing.
Yeah, I met Count Basie. I met Ella. And oh goodness, this show is supposed to be about you and your show instead of us.
Honey, we're having a good time. I don't mind. Let's talk. What?
Oh wait a minute, let me check because somebody named Miss Craig is watching us closely.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
And we, like I said,
let's behave.
That's impossible.
Exactly.
Speaking of, we got to give propers to a couple of folks who are helping with this production. Isn't that silly? Who are involved in producing. We want to say thank you to Joe Brancato for bringing Miss Miche Braden to the Cleveland audience. I know she's all around the country. And Angelo Pera.
Yes, he's the playwright.
He's the playwright. And, actually, you wrote the play.
No, he wrote the play. Angelo wrote it.
So it's an original work.
Yes.
Don't play you cheap. And you're your own music director and arranger, Miss Miche Braden. And of course, we all know that Michael Bloom is the artistic director for the entire Cleveland Playhouse. So I'm sure he was instrumental in making sure that Mickey's show got here to Cleveland, as it happens for Black History Month.
Isn't that something?
You know the joke about the only time black people work.
Get a chance to work in the theater, right?
But while they're here and they're listening to you, is it a combination of storytelling and singing for your Bessie Smith production?
Exactly. Joe Brancato was the one that conceived the play. So we built it, around a buffet flat, which is what this represents. And so telling the story is a very important part of it because people really need to know the story behind the artist.
Of course.
A lot of times they don't. They hear what they hear on the recordings or see in the movies, but they don't really know what's going on behind and why they sing. So Joe did a great job in conceiving that type of feeling for this piece.
Okay, and was he somebody that you knew from a long time ago?
Actually, I did Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and
You
Grill.
did that one too?
I did it
Okay.
long ago, and he asked Laney Robertson
Yes.
to refer someone to him so he could do it at his place in
Yes.
Penguin in Stony Point, New York. And he referred me, and we've been best friends, brother, sister, ever since.
Ever since.
Ever
yes.
since.
Now, for our general public, this show runs, opening is tomorrow officially, the 15th,
Yes, the 20th.
the 20th, and the show runs through March 10th. So there is no excuse not to come find out about the devil's music. Would you please tell us, we know the answer, but why was this the devil's music?
Well, this isn't something that you would sing in church. And you know, at that time, folks was going to church on a regular.
Yes.
And if it wasn't about the church, it was about the devil.
It sure was.
So this was the devil's music.
And people did not understand music that was not from or in the church.
Well, you know, they would get a little upset because of the fact that the blues and the gospels are almost interchangeable.
Interchangeable,
And when you
yeah.
think about the greatest gospel writer in the world, Thomas
Dorsey, the grandfather of it,
was
yes.
Georgia Tom, writing for Ma Rainey and Bessie and so many others.
Yeah.
So he, you know, he was able to find that ground.
Yes.
And his music that became gospel went soaring.
And
you know?
I know how I sort of know, I don't pretend to know much, but I got so tickled because, now this is more modern times, Kirk Franklin came out and he caused the churches just to collapse because they did not know what to do with him initially.
And it was funny because I used to do that in my choirs, in my churches, you know,
Yeah.
change popular songs
Yes.
into gospel, but it's the same thing.
Of course.
It's the same thing.
And you groove to it. Now, the best thing about jazz, and there's a beautiful old bar, Lisa and I were cruising the set while you were coming, but to sit in a nightclub. Now, in the old days, I could stay and smoke, but now it'd have to be a smokeless nightclub.
Exactly.
And you sit with your cocktail, and the lights are just so, and you just sit and groove and jam to the music,
Yes,
you know. So your show would bring back those kinds of memories for folks who come to see, you know, the play.
Oh, yeah.
And that should be a lot of fun. So tell me, when you are not doing everything music and acting, what does Miche Braden like to do in her personal private life?
Well, I actually have taught myself to crochet.
Okay.
I have 2 dogs, so I've been making stuff for
Well,
them.
those are 2 I met.
Yes, Rocky Dog and Zena Mae.
Zena Mae, yes. I'm still carrying where they licked me.
Yes. And I love to sew. I like to make clothing as well as making home accessories. So I'm trying to build a business to do that. But every time I do, a show comes up.
A call comes in, yeah.
But I'm going to keep doing it so that a show keep coming in.
So that you don't have to really keep working when you're 115 if you don't want to.
As long as I'm creating, that's what I enjoy doing, if it's not music or acting.
I see, okay. So what projects do you know about that you can talk about that you've got coming up after you finish your run here?
Well, we're going to continue with this show in Pennsylvania and Boston.
Okay.
And a few other places are calling about it now, especially since we've been here in Cleveland. They've been hearing about the success, and we did a run in New York for a year.
Okay.
But I'm also just did the world premiere of Gone with the Wind.
Huh?
Yes. It was up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And the week before I came here, I was there.
Scarlett?
Of course I was Scarlett. Yes, yes.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was a wonderful production, though.
You got to have that brought here.
Well, you know, they can't do it here unless they can't do it here because of the copyright and the, you know, copyright law.
Yeah.
But in Canada, it's only 50 years. Here, it's 75.
I see.
You
Okay.
know. If the estate lets them, they will. But we're getting
yeah.
ready to do it in Toronto,
Okay.
I believe. I'm just going to claim it because they have interest.
Yeah, tell me I know you've mentioned a little bit about how your mom got you into music and stuff, but even now, who do you consider your inspirational artists, your role models, and it can be from the church or from, you know, wherever, but who, if you could sit at the feet of, in my case, it would be Maya Angelou, if I could, you know, it's kind of, but who would you sit at the feet of, so to speak?
Well, Quincy Jones.
Oh, God. Now, can I be with you? If you do,
I had a cat, a little stray cat walked in my house, and I said, "Your name is Quincy
Quincy
Jones."
Okay.
He is one, because of the fact he does all kinds of music.
Oh,
I would love to work with him.
Yes.
You know.
And
I don't want to work for him. I want to work with him.
Yeah. And so hopefully, Mr. Jones, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, Miche Braden, you can contact her through us at Wake Up and Live's Actor Studio. And we are wakeup4664@aol.com or www.wakeupandlives.org. Certainly, we'd like to take credit for it, but if you prefer to work with bigger folks, you can call Lisa Craig, the PR manager at the Cleveland Playhouse. And I only remember the first 3 digits of her phone number, 400 something. So you have to call us to find it. So anyway, do you do private gigs, or is everything you do through your manager or agent?
No, I do private gigs.
Okay.
You know, I also work with James Carter, the
Yes,
jazz
yes.
saxophonist.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm a fool for it.
Oh, isn't he?
And when Grover Washington, I still haven't gotten over Grover Washington
Yeah.
dropping dead. That just blew me away. You know. So
well, you got to make sure you catch our saxophone player, Keith Loftus.
yes, ma'am. Just tell me
Okay.
where and when.
Tonight, tomorrow, and the
Oh,
rest
here.
of this run.
Sure. Well, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow.
Great.
And sitting here like I don't have good sense. Because I have been on the stage at the Cleveland Playhouse, known as the Allen Theater. Yes, I have. And with Miss Miche Braden. Now, you've had God's been good, and you've been blessed with being able to sustain yourself with your living in the arts, music and acting.
Yes, your mouth to
Yeah,
Okay.
you are in position to offer some insights, guidance, or advice to somebody who wants to, because like I say, we do education and training and coaching. What advice or insights would you give someone, an aspiring individual, one who wants to be in this business and what it takes? Or, if you're like all actors and artists, I'm sure there have been times that you haven't felt as up as you are today. How do you get through this? That's a two-parter.
Well, that's something that I call the post-production depression syndrome, in which when the show comes down and there's nothing coming up, your auditions aren't going through, you know, and you go into a depression.
Yes.
It just happens, you know, it just happens that way. But if you're going to do what you love, do it. If you don't really want to do this, you cannot make excuses like, I got to get this job, I got to do this, I got to do that. You got to trust your talent. If you got the talent, it'll help you survive. If you don't have the talent, you can tell by the fact that you didn't get no job.
Oh, well, now that makes me kind of wonder.
Yeah, no, but seriously, I mean, no, but you know how it is with the
Okay,
auditions, because
yes.
I mean, you may be a great performer on stage, but horrible in auditions.
Hello.
You know,
Hello.
you know, but the thing about it also is to create your own venues.
She gave us a
is the main
segue
thing.
into Wake Up and Live's Actor Studio.
Yes, that's the way you have to do it.
Yeah, we created our own work simply
Yes.
because of our industry. Love it, and you got to be a little weird to be in it.
Yes, and be willing to try anything. Because, I mean, I almost gave up the idea of playing Mammy because
Okay.
I don't want to play any slaves.
Sure.
You know, but I had to read the story and see what
How
was going on
important.
and just how, you know, everything. And you have to be willing to try a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah.
You have to.
One
If you
of-
don't, it's not going to
One
work.
of my early instructors said acting was the kind of business you had to be willing to make a fool of yourself.
Yes, that is
So,
the truth.
you know, because you have to let go of you to do certain, you know, characters. And speaking of which,
Yes.
how do you connect your inner self with Bessie? What's your preparation method?
Well, actually, I am first a gigging musician.
Yes.
Which I know that life.
Yes.
So doing what Bessie was doing, I had lived it already.
Okay.
So I can draw from my own experience and put it in there and become the Bessie that we have created.
Okay, including the pain and the...
Including the pain,
Yeah.
including the joy, including the fun, including the fights, including everything.
Everything. So you've got it all rolled up
Yes.
into one. Now, we were speaking about you absorb and you create and you pull up all of the emotions associated with Bessie Smith. So let me ask you, come at you sideways, totally different question. How long have you been in Cleveland this time for this production?
Got here last week, last Monday. We went and had our first preview on Friday.
Okay.
And I will be here till March 10th. So it's basically 4 weeks.
In your off time, have you seen Cleveland and share with us your reaction to it, the things that make you smile and bring you joy as you look around Cleveland and all? Or has it been strictly from the hotel to the stage?
Mostly that. Mostly that. I've gotten around. My dog had a little mishap, so I had to find a way to the vet.
Okay.
But I haven't really had a chance to check out too much. But I am checking out Nighttown. I got to check out Nighttown.
Check out, yes.
I'm going to go back again to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I got to go over there again, and I want to see what else is going on around here.
Okay. Well, it should be a fun experience. And off camera, I'll just figure out, maybe I can take you out for a cup of coffee or something. Yeah, if your schedule allows over the next, couple of weeks.
Okay.
So, I do know that we need to begin wrapping up. We got the proverbial signal.
But this is so much fun.
It is so much fun. And usually, once we get going, it's hard to stop.
Yes.
But because you have a performance at 7:30.
7 o'clock tonight.
Oh, 7 o'clock.
7:30 tomorrow.
Okay, so it is now about 5 o'clock on this particular day. When you see it on YouTube, it'll be another, day or two gone by. But certainly call the box office 216-421, 241?
Yes.
241-6000 and get your tickets. And of course, I'm not even going to try to tell you what website to go to get tickets. But you cannot miss this production, which has storytelling and singing. And I don't know, if Lester, can you kind of pan and see the beautiful baby grand piano in the background? And then, of course, as we look between us, I guess, you see the staircase, you see the bar. So maybe Mickey will invite us up on the stage, and then we can finish this story during the performance tonight or tomorrow. Okay. Over a glass of, my thing is Jim Beam, personally, yes.
Well, we had to drink some hooch.
Some hooch. Good old fashioned.
Got you there.
Yes, you did. Oh, this has been so exciting.
Yes, it has.
And I want to wish you nothing but much success. You are truly a delight as a person and as an artist. And I don't know what else to say about you, because this half hour has gone so quickly.
Yes, it has.
And there's so many things we can talk about, but I guess we'll have to do it off camera. And because in the meantime, we want to remind you once again that over the next 2 weeks, to come check out Miche Braden as Bessie Smith and find out why it was the devil's music, because it sure was something. And some of you may even remember being there when Bessie Smith was there, and her heyday was the 20s and 30s.
Yes.
Okay, so as we wrap, our purpose has been to showcase Mickey and the play and the Cleveland Playhouse, and thank the people who were involved in the production, and Lisa Craig for having us come in. But we want to take just a second, because we are coming up, the Wake Up and Lives Actor Studio will be having a special benefit called A Night of Play Acts, Saturday, April 13th. It'll be at the Greenmont Party Center, and we are going to be showcasing our own playwrights in residence, their work, they're directing the pieces, and we have a variety of live entertainment for our dinner benefit theater evening. Come on out and join us. We even have a belly dancer on tap. That should be lots of fun. Okay, so once again, if you want to find out more about our event here at the Allen Theater, the story of Bessie Smith, call 216-241-6000. Certainly, For things pertaining to the Wake Up and Lives Actors Studio, contact us at wakeup4664@aol.com. And let me just ask you, do you have an email address or a website that you refer people to?
Well, you can catch me on Facebook at Ms. Miche Braden, Diva Out of Bounds, or The Devil's Music, The Life and Blues of Bessie Smith.
Okay, so that if you want to hire her for your theater, you can do so. Okay, thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate you joining us. And as we always say at the end of every show, be sure to wake up and live with the arts every day. See you next time.